Hi, welcome to the Popular Podcast. My name is Philip. First up, let's take a look in the mailbag. Val N. writes, "Sometimes I root for villains. Am I a psychopath?" I don't know if you're a psychopath, Val. Probably not. As for myself, I don't know if I necessarily like rooting for a villain or an antagonist, but I do sometimes enjoy seeing them genuinely happy. Granted, the cost of their happiness is probably something horrific, but I think on some level it just feels good to see things going right for anyone. One example of this is I like seeing a prospective bad guy recruit impress the main bad guy. I think seeing someone like a big bad who's menacing or heartless take a liking to someone else is nice, even if it's just seen through a slow, approving nod. Another thing that you see a lot that I kind of like is when the villain smiles and nods to the rest of the inner circle, then shakes their finger in the new recruit's face and says something like, "I like this guy." I think sometimes rooting for these villains is excusable, because ultimately we know it's not real, right? Okay, unfortunately, it's time for Chinch Watch. We're still dealing with an infestation of chinch bugs in our backyard. Again, these are small bugs that suck moisture out of turf. And I get that they need to do that, but I'm trying to stop them. One morning before work this past week, I used a spray insecticide in the backyard throughout the damaged area and beyond. I wore rubber gloves, but the whole time I was afraid of accidentally poisoning myself. At one point, I also opened up the spray canister to refill it, and it almost sprayed me in the face with pressurized insecticide air, because I hadn't let off enough pressure from the spray valve. I don't think I inhaled anything, though. After checking back a couple of days later, I saw that there were still some bugs on the edges of the yard. So I moved to a pellet form of insecticide. The look of it reminded me of dried quinoa. I loaded up a fertilizer spreader and treated the front and backyard. As I spread it throughout the yard, I also spread it into my socks and shoes. The instructions recommended a 1/4 inch of irrigation to help activate the granules, but we weren't allowed to water that day. However, I knew that there was a chance of rain overnight and into the next day, and luckily it did rain. I'm hopeful that this will have a more permanent result. There's still another month or so of chinch bug season, so it's not finished yet. Next year I think I'll treat the yard at the beginning of the summer to see if I can stop the problem before it starts. For now though, I'll have to keep up with my Chinch Watch. Now it's time for me to try and guess your password. It's time for Pass Hack. Our passwords are the only thing holding ill-wishers and troublemakers back from our most preciously guarded secrets and data. I'm pretty good at guessing passwords, and I'm going to try to guess yours now. But don't worry, I won't do anything with it. It's just fun to guess. Alright, so let's start with a simple one, like your internet provider password. Okay, so first, I'll put in your email address. And now the password. Alright, let's just break it down one piece at a time. So your birth year is 79. Your middle name starts with the numeral 2. Your favorite band from 1995. They're not quite eligible to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So let's try Shell Corp 78 ampersand, where you sub in a 2 for the 8. Nope, that didn't work. Then let's try, we'll swap out your middle initial for your favorite salad dressing, which is Green Goddess. And that worked. Fun. Alright, let's try one for your library login. Now you read somewhere you were supposed to use a phrase as your password, so you went with the phrase, "I'm fine with it if you are." And you changed all the L's to 7s, because you thought it looked cool, or Coos 7. So, let's see. Nope, that didn't work. Let's see. Okay, I bet you also capitalized the last letter of every word, too. And that worked. Okay, let's do one more. And this one's tough. I bet you wanted to make this one as secure as you possibly could. For this password, I think you first created your own language. Then you designed a password, and then encrypted it back out into Roman numerals, where you subbed M dashes in for the X's just to be a little safer. It's a very savvy move on your part. So let's try CVIIIMI, couple dashes here. No. Try a couple more M's here. Nope, that wasn't it. Let's see. I think I know what it is. Well, nope, that didn't work either. I reached the maximum attempts, and I can't try again for another hour. So I guess I'll just have to wait a while to try again to access your petmeals.com account. Okay, that's enough password guessing for today. Again, I didn't do anything with this information that I guessed, but I do recommend that you regularly change your passwords. Ensuring your personal data is secure will literally add years to your life, especially once you've uploaded your consciousness into the cloud and have password protected it. Dear Diary, last week I tried to go play disc golf at the course that's catty corner to our block. I had found a used sporting goods store across the parking lot from my favorite blood bank, and they had a lot of used discs for sale. I bought a driver and a putter disc that seemed like they were in pretty good shape. I wasn't sure how this was going to go because I had only played disc golf once as a teenager, and that was only for a couple of holes, not a full course. The day after I bought the discs was hot and mostly sunny outside, and against my better judgment, I walked to the course to try it out. There weren't many people on the course when I arrived. The few I saw were in pairs several holes ahead of me from where I was starting. I felt pretty out of place from the start, as I didn't have a shoulder bag to carry around my discs like the rest of the players I saw. Also, I kept my shirt on the whole time, which was apparently pretty unorthodox. Each tee box, I guess I'll call it, had a small map plotting where the hole was. But even these were sort of confusing, as a lot of the holes crossed paths with each other, making it tricky to tell where to aim. I was pretty bad, but it was still a nice solitary activity. I had downloaded a smartphone app to track my score as I went along. All the holes were a par 3. I caught up to one pair of guys at one point who seemed to be talking as much as they were throwing. One of them asked if I was alone, as if there was something strange about that, and then let me play through. It was all pretty uneventful and just engaging enough. At one point, a car ran over one of the discs I accidentally threw in the street. Another time, after the 8th or 9th hole, I thought for a moment that I was going to have to hike through a wooded area full of litter that was near a ditch. But it turned out I was supposed to just go around it on the sidewalk. The heat made me see spots in my vision a couple of times, so I took small breaks on some of the available benches. I finally finished the full course and made my way back home through the thankfully shaded neighborhood. I finished at a modest 29 over par. I don't think I'm yet ready to commit to getting a little disc bag, but maybe I'll try again when the weather cools off some more. Until next time, your friend, Philip. Okay, before we wrap things up, it's time for household tips. Whenever it's time to swap out your toothbrush for a new one, don't throw the old one away. Save those toothbrushes for hard-to-reach or more precise scrubbing situations. I myself have saved several toothbrushes for these special little cleaning jobs over the years. I've never done anything with them, but they're there in case I need them. So here's the tip. Save your old toothbrushes. Bonus tip. If you use them to clean something besides your own teeth, don't put them back in your mouth again. Okay, that'll do it for another pop filler. Thanks for listening, and remember, you'll be fine.